where you are. Glad you're here with us. And, you know, nothing happens at Youngevity without something being told about Youngevity or communicated to about Youngevity. So we can talk about websites and we can talk about how to explain a product to somebody. We talk about how you explain the compensation plan. But until you invite somebody to take a look at something, all the rest of the stuff that never happens. They'll never see the website. They'll never hear the presentation. They'll never see the brochure. They'll never watch the video. So everything starts with an invitation. And sometimes upline leaders get a little, confused. They go, I can't understand it. The people in my organization don't seem to be inviting people to anything. They're not signing people up. There are no customers, no distributors. And sometimes people think that the new person is going to join up and just start inviting people on their own. Like, oh, well, they'll just naturally know that they need to invite people and how to invite people. And that's just not true. The average person, without being taught how to invite, is either going to do nothing or do the wrong thing. And we can't be upset or dismayed when they don't do anything when we haven't told them exactly what to do, because they're like, I'm waiting for instructions, or I'm going to go ahead and figure it out on my own. And when you figure it out on your own, you don't really probably do a good job. It'd be like you going, hey, I'm going to be a heart surgeon. I don't need to go to school. I'll just figure it out on my own. It's not going to have a good outcome. So we need to understand that we need to tell them what to do, and we kind of need to tell them how much of it to do. Today I have to do like 4 hours on a bike. Why am I doing 4 hours on a bike? My coach told me that now I'm 12 weeks out of my next Ironman. I need to be at this many miles on this day. And then I'd go up and down based upon, hard weeks, soft week, recovery weeks. I don't know. I'm following a plan. So we need to understand it's up to us as the 1 stars and above to give people that plan. Otherwise, don't expect to execute anything that makes any sense to you. So once we've told them what the plan is, the problem is that a lot of people won't do the plan. They won't invite. And they won't invite largely because they think of what it means to get rejected by somebody they invite to look at something. Last week, I got invited by somebody who obviously doesn't know me very well, and we'll talk about why we invite people we know. It's easier to invite people we know to things versus not know, to go to a gym and rock show. I don't want to go to a gym and rock show. I mean, it's nothing wrong with a gym and rock show. I just have no desire to go to a gym and rock show. There were thousands of people at this gym and rock show. I just wasn't one of them. So inviting me to something that I have no interest in doesn't mean I wouldn't say no for sure, but it's a pretty good chance I'm going to say no because it doesn't fit anything that's of interest to me. If he invited me to like, hey, Corey, we're going to do, there's a session on open water swimming and how to go around the corners better. I'm like, yeah, I want to go to that. When is that? How much does it cost? Because I'm interested in learning that skill. So somebody who knows me is more likely to invite me to something that I'm interested in. And I'm more likely to say yes, A, relationship-wise, and B, because the thing I'm being asked to is something I'm interested in. If somebody said, hey, Corey, are you interested in going to Ironman Ireland? I might say, oh, God, I'd love to do it, but it's the wrong time. It's the same week of convention. Just because I said no to that person doesn't mean I'm not interested. It's just bad timing. So we need to let people know that when they're inviting people, and even if the person says no to them, it doesn't mean that person has zero interest in what they're doing or even is judging what they're doing. It's just, that's really bad timing for me. Right now, my mom is super, super sick and I'm consumed with that. It's not going to happen right now. I may say no to you right out of hand. It doesn't mean no is a horrible answer. It just means no is a bad answer right now. Example for me in network marketing. I didn't say yes to go to my first network marketing meeting until about the 8th or 9th person asked me to do network marketing. The 9th person did not have a better presentation than the previous 8. The 9th person was not a better friend. In fact, actually was not as close a friend as the other ones who asked me. The reason I said yes to the 9th person was my personal circumstances at that time. The other 8 invitations just came when I was too new into dentistry and was still excited about it, or maybe just had, my wife was pregnant and wasn't interested in it, or maybe I was just in a bad mood that day. I don't know. And the ninth invitation came when I was fed up with my job and I didn't want to do it anymore. And all of a sudden I was more open to a new idea than I was the previous 8. So the other 8 people didn't loosen the jar for me, as that expression goes. No. The other 8 people simply asked me the same type of offer when I, Corey, wasn't ready for that type of offer. So just because you get a no from somebody does not mean you did a bad presentation. I would have said no to the 9th person 6 months earlier. It was the timing of the situation. And that's why a lot of times one of the things that I always do when I invite people to something and they say no, and I say, hey, listen, I know it may not be good timing in your life right now. Do you mind if I catch up with you on the same topic 6 or 7 months down the line? And they'll usually say, yeah, 6, 7 months down the line, great. A, they don't think you're going to do it. And B, 6 or 7 months from them is a bazillion years. And I do actually put it in my calendar to call them back 6 or 7 months later and say, hey, I know we talked, a few months back about what I was doing and what you were doing, and you were just too busy at the time. Can we revisit that conversation? Because if somebody would have done that to me of my first 8 people, I'd be in their organization right now because I just had to have the right timing. Sometimes people will tell you, I only want to go to people I don't know to talk about network marketing or products or things because I feel good about it, because if I'm rejected by it, I won't have to see that person again. Well, that's true. You won't see them again. And the reason you won't see them again is because you don't know them, so you're likely to get a no from them. You stop somebody at the store at Costco and start talking about network marketing, you're likely to get run over by a shopping cart. There's no relationship that makes them want to stop and say something to you. The only reason you can get somebody to take your attention at Costco is for the free sample, right? That's the reason people stop at Costco. Otherwise, they're just motoring through the place. People are busy in life, but they will take time to listen to you if you have a relationship with them. If you have a relationship with them, they're much more likely to do 2 things. 1, listen to you. 2, say yes to you, even just to look. Or 3, give you a referral. Somebody come up to me and could say, hey, Corey, this weekend is Comic-Con in San Diego, but a lot of us are escaping down to La Jolla, and there's this big yoga fest. I'm not interested in yoga fest. I'm like the guy who should not go to yoga fest. I can't touch my elbow with my hand, let alone my knees or my toes. I am like Mr. Iron Man in that regard, okay? I need some WD-40. But my wife is yoga sensei master, rubber person. That's who she is. Because I know this person and I trust this person, I'd be likely to pass that information on to Adrian. And Adrian, I know you're going to yoga. I saw Mary at the coffee place and she was talking about a yoga fest in La Jolla. You should call her. You should go to that thing. I would not have passed on that referral to a stranger. If a stranger told me, if a stranger said, hey, are you interested in yoga fest? I'm like, yeah, I don't know you. It could be like totally crazy. I'm not going to do anything. But I know this woman and she has credibility with me. It's not something I'm interested in, but my wife might be. So you're likely to get referrals and you're likely to get secondary benefits from talking to a person you know about what you're doing. And you can ask for referrals because they know how to get a hold of you because they have a relationship with you. So I've gotten over the years lots of great referrals. Dr. Lewis was actually not the original person I talked to. I talked to one of his business partners, got to Dr. Lewis. You see, that was a referral. The first guy I talked to knew Dr. Lewis's business partner. He also knew Dr. Lewis a little bit. I talked to the other guy first. He kind of blew me off a little bit. He said, talk to my business partner. I talked to Dr. Lewis. So the reality is sometimes referrals can be really super handy to the tune of millions of QV points every month. So because I had a warm relationship, they were willing to say, yes, I'll talk to my partner. If that was a cold relationship, they're not pushing me off to their partner. They don't want to inconvenience their partner. So I came to learn right away that because most people aren't in a place where they want to do network marketing or they want to do product sales or they want to even try products because it's just not the right day for them. If you came to my house and asked me to buy DirecTV, I'm going to say no. You asked me for Comcast, I'm going to say no. It doesn't matter what you're asking me for. I just don't want to say yes to most anything because I'm good in life or I don't want to bother to do anything else. So knowing that most people are going to say no to me, I don't take it personally, because that same person that say no to Comcast, the same person that say no to whatever comes their way, it's just that person's busy today. So we need to let people know that when they're talking to people and doing the business of inviting, people are going to say no to them simply because knows the reflexive, automatic answer that they give when they're busy, stressed, tired, pissed off, whatever it might be. And it has nothing to do with you. It's simply, I got 27 things on my plate. You're number 28. I have no room for more than 4 at a time. So you're a no. It doesn't mean longevity's bad. It doesn't mean that our products are bad. It just means that that person's on overload, and that's how they get rid of overload, is no. And we need to teach that to people so that they don't take it so personally. I was talking to Bill and he brushed me off. Yeah, Bill's mom's in the hospital. His kids got problems in school. His car's broken and he can't afford any of it. And he's not listening right now. No was a reflexive answer. It doesn't mean we can't get better at invitations, and we will talk about that in a second. But we have to teach our people that no does not mean I don't like you or what you're doing is wrong or bad. It simply means today is not a day where my ears are even open. And no, even a brisk no simply means I just can't handle more. And if it's 11 o'clock in the morning where you are, you're probably at that point already today. And because that's the way life is. Life comes at you pretty quick. And sometimes the best way to keep stuff off you is simply say no, right? It's like, how many of you have gone to a PTA meeting and your spouse says, don't volunteer for anything. Don't volunteer for any committees, right? Why? Because they're going to ask you to volunteer. And they're warning you in advance. You're new, Corey. You never go to the PTA meetings. Say no. Otherwise, you're going to be decorating Christmas trees for like the next 6 months. Say no. So the reality is we're conditioned to say no to things. And that's pretty funny. So one of the examples I use about people saying no to invitations, I love Ironman racing. I'm just like this crazy, bizarre, weird person who thinks that pain and suffering for long periods of time must be fun. And so I'm in these things, and I probably could go to a longevity event and ask 100 people if they wanted to do it. Maybe some would say they wanted to do it, and I say, will you do it with me? Probably almost everyone would say no. That's okay. I'm going to go to Ironman Arizona in November, and there's going to be 3,600 other crazy people who are going to be, woo-hoo-hoo, can't wait, put on our wetsuits, dive in cold, murky water, let's go, right? They're like the crazy people of the world who get out of the water and you say, how was it? And they're going, awesome, right? So the fact that nobody that I know right now wants to do it, there's 3,600 people who can't wait to get in. I got invited to Ironman North American Championships in April. There's a waiting list to get into that thing. Most people would say, I'll pay you not to go. Where do I pay not to have to do this? There's a waiting list to get in. My guess, if there's the best gem and rock show in the world, there'll be a waiting list to get into it. You won't be on it, but there'll be people who want to go. Comic-Con is coming to my city, and nerds around the world are uniting upon my city. It is the greatest thing ever. It's like the opposite of the soccer hooligans. They're coming to my city. And, nerdy glasses all over San Diego. It's fantastic. My point is that there's a lot of people who want to do anything and everything. And you just have to find your group who wants to do it. I am not looking to convince anybody to do anything they don't want to do. I've been married 28 years. I've never won an argument with my wife. I'm not going to win one with you, a stranger, okay? So arguing with people about why they should join network marketing, or you don't get it and you don't understand and you don't know how the economic system is rigged and you're working for your boss and you're never going to get rich and they use you like pawns, they don't want to hear any of it. In fact, they'll become defensive to all of it because they don't want to have to admit it, or they don't want to hear it, or they don't want to hear from you. So I'm looking for people who already want to do something like I'm doing. I'm looking for the crazy people who think network marketing might be a good way to get out of their own problems. Maybe they don't know it's network marketing. Maybe they're just looking for entrepreneurship. Maybe they're looking for a business opportunity. So when I talk about it, like when Tom does his coffee shop interviews, we're trying to find out what those people are looking for in life. And they're always going to tell you, I want more time. I want more money. I want more self-determination. I want more ability to travel. I want to see my kids, which are all the things that I got in it for. And we have to let them know when we're inviting them or during the process of presenting to them that that's really what we're talking about. At the end of the day, it is a job that you work for yourself. It is a business, but that business gives you certain flexibilities that other businesses don't give. And those flexibilities were so appealing to me that I was willing to get involved. Now, the biggest thing that got me involved in network marketing was that I didn't have to quit my job to jump in. You see, most people go, I'd like to do something else, but I got to pay tomorrow's bill with today's dollar. I don't have this big pot of money like Jeff Bezos where I can just say, hey, I think I'll be a chef tomorrow. I can't do that. I've got to be able to pay tomorrow's bills with today's efforts. Or I've got to pay yesterday's bills with today's efforts for a lot of us, right? So I can't risk quitting anything. So I can't go open my new yoga studio and I can't open my bicycle store because I don't have the resources and I can't quit my job today. So when most people hear economic opportunity, they're thinking, I don't have any risk. My kids are depending on me, so I can't do anything. I'm stuck in this really awful box. But networking says, well, you may not make a lot of money, or you might make a lot of money, but you're not stuck in the awful box because you can stay at your current job while you do this. That's really appealing to me. I could keep my income coming in. The second thing, when I'm talking to people a lot about why I love it so much, because people say, why do you even like it, right? You'll hear that a lot. Like, why would you even get involved? And I would say, well, I'm not a risk taker. That's a great one. So people say, why would you get involved in network marketing? I said, because I'm not a risk taker. Because everybody thinks network marketing is risky. I said, because I'm not a risk taker. They go, what do you mean? It's like the most risky job. You don't have any guarantee of any money. You have to go get your own clients. I said, yeah, dude, that's absolutely true. But at 9 in the morning, I'm in my dental office. And at 5 o'clock, I leave my dental office. I have my income coming in. This is my extra on the side thing. This is the thing I'm doing to get out of what my problem is. So I don't risk anything. I've got my income coming in. This is my passion business. So if it works, I'm so excited. And if it doesn't work the way I want it to, I still got my regular job that I don't like that pays the bills. I'm not a risk taker. Because trust me, when they get home to their husband or wife and they have a box of Youngevity products, what the heck did you just do? I just joined network marketing. Why did you say, listen, sweetie, I'm not a risk taker. I hate my job, but I know I have to go back there tomorrow. I want this family to have more opportunities. I want to see my kids more. So I bought this box because it lets me go to do my job and lets me build my escape route part-time on my own time. So for me, this is not taking a risk. Listen, I take vitamins anyway. So the worst thing that happens is I simply eat the evidence and we're done. I'm going to buy vitamins anyway. I'm a nutrition taker. Hey, I like these things. I'm buying them anyway. I'm just not buying them at Costco. I'm buying them at Youngevity. I'm going to try this out with passion. And if worst comes to worst, we're right back where we started. That works, by the way. Because the other person goes, all right, well, good luck, right? Because we don't need that passive-aggressive behavior at home. So I'm not a risk taker is the reason I joined network marketing. Because most people look at it the opposite, like, oh my God, how can you do that? It's the riskiest thing in the world. No, the riskiest thing in the world is going to a job every single day you hate, knowing it's never going to provide you enough money to retire on because you have no possibility of success. All you're doing is feeding yourself today, knowing yourself you want to hang yourself tomorrow. That's the only thing that's going on with that particular thing. So I've got to stay at the job I don't like. So I'm going to do this as my escape. And if it doesn't work, I eat the evidence is what I always say. So that's one reason why when we talk to people, we have to know what their thought processes are. What are the major things that people are thinking about when they're listening to you? Now, if somebody's talking to me and they're inviting me to something, and they know what I like. If they came to me and said, Corey, we got these new nutrition bars that you guys can use, I want to try them because I'm always looking for things that I could use on the bike and on the run. So knowing me, that would be a really good thing to say because I'm likely to try it. Saying, hey, Corey, we have these diet bars. I'm like, I'm going to go do 72 miles on a bike. I don't need a diet bar. I need a bike bar. So the more I know about this person, the more I can recommend to them the right Youngevity presentation. I can say to somebody who's looking to lose weight, hey, oh my gosh, Have you heard about this new keto thing going on in the world? Youngevity's got this company I'm working for has this amazing thing. I apologize to you. I should have called you like 6 months ago when this came out. And now that I see you, I feel embarrassed I didn't talk to you because I know we were talking 6 months ago about you wanting to change your lifestyle, have a better, healthier lifestyle. And I have something and didn't call you on it. I'm constantly apologizing to people for not bugging them earlier because I should have thought about them. It's like, oh my gosh, you've been telling me that your knee has been bothering you for like 6 months. And we have this new thing, I'm not telling you, coming out at convention. I should have called you on it. Or when it comes out at convention, oh my goodness, we were at convention and I almost left the hallway right in the middle because there was this product that just came out that I know you need. And I'm going to come over tomorrow and just even talk to you about it because I'm so excited that this might be benefit to you. Two things going on there. One is I might get a customer. Two is I might have a person who needs my product. It's a good match, right? Because I am thinking about that person. So every time Youngevity announces a new product, I do think about, oh God, my sister needs that. She has bad eyesight. Oh, my wife needs that. She's got a thumb issue going on. Oh, whatever it might be. And don't make fun of thumb issues. My wife has a thumb issue going on. So I always am trying to think of what matches the person the best. Because if you match what fits the person the best, there's a good likelihood they're going to listen to you. For example, a couple of days ago, I was online to get something. I think I was at an ATM or something, and the person was just holding their back and making like sounds like their back was hurting them. And after a few minutes, I realized their back must have been hurting them. And I said, "Listen, I know you don't know me. We're waiting in line here, but it looks like you have a bad back. That must be super painful." I didn't say, hey, you have a bad back. Do you want pain cream? I didn't say that. I said, hey, you have a bad back. That must be super painful. And the person says to me, goes, oh my God, I can't even tell you how awful this is. This is worse than having childbirth. And I said, not having had a child, I can only imagine. That's really awful. So what are you doing about it? And she says, oh, I've been to the chiropractor. It doesn't work. I've had x-rays. It doesn't work. They talk about surgery. I don't want that. I'm going, oh yeah, surgery sounds awful. And they're going, she goes on and on. She goes, I can't do anything. I said, listen, my wife used to have a bad back. It happens to be true. She did. My wife used to have a bad back, and it made her crazy. And when my wife is crazy, it's not good for me either. So I didn't like it, and she didn't like it, and it wasn't getting any better. And then one of our buddies, actually was a woman named Sandy Ellsworth, brought us over this cream, and she put it on, and we thought she was crazy. And my wife goes, I feel a little bit better. I'm going like, let's buy 20,000 of them because this is making you feel better. So I don't know if you'd be interested or not, but I probably can get my wife to tell me what that was, and I can get it for you because she swears by it. The person's either going to say, go run and get your wife and find out what that was, or leave me alone, weird, odd person, before I call the police. One of the two. Either way, I have an answer. I can move in one direction or the other. And my point is that the person knows I understand their problem, and the person says, I'm willing to listen to your solution, or I'm not. But it's not like, hey, you're fat. Do you want some keto bars? Or, hey, you got a GIMP. Do you want some pain cream? It's like, that just doesn't work. You've got to connect to that person. And you can connect to people once you've had a little conversation with them. That's why Tom does the coffee shop interview. Coffee shop interview is just a fun way of saying I talk to people and find out what's going on with them. So going back to the invitation, when we're inviting something, people say, give me the magic words. The magic words are, what is appropriate for that individual? There is no magic thing, because I'm looking at my screen, I see Victoria Barron, I see Pam, I see James. All of them are different. So me talking to them the exact same way is going to get probably the worst results possible, because I haven't connected to any of them. Because I know Victoria, she's a very good friend of mine. I do know some of her issues. I know Pam real well. I know some of the things going on in her life. James, I don't know. He's a good looking guy, but I'm sure he's got his stuff too. We all have stuff. And I need to talk to them all about what fits with them. Sometimes I can talk about what gets me excited and see if they perk up a little bit too. You ever do that? You can always tell, like yesterday, my daughter goes, hey, there's this new Mexican restaurant right down the street. I'm like, Mexican? They're like, I love Mexican food. That'd be a good person to say, hey, we should go. If I go, yeah, I hate Mexican, like, she shouldn't ask me to go. But sometimes what I perk up about is pretty cool, because you can see when you perk up, if other people perk up with you, that means they have a little bit of energy to it. So Michelle Wallach's totally geeked out about Comic-Con, and they're going to go. And she goes, oh my God, Comic-Con. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, Comic-Con. She shouldn't invite me to Comic-Con. I'm like, yeah, whatever, Comic-Con. If Rebecca, my daughter, was around, she goes, Comic-Con, you know, it's like, oh, her hair's going to bust out of her head or whatever, because it sounds exciting to her. I'm sure Michelle Wallach would say, Rebecca, come with me to Comic-Con, because she can tell that person would be fun to do something with. So part of sometimes what I do to find out if people are interested, I geek my energy level up a little bit and see who geeks up along with me. Because people usually do the opposite. If they're not interested, they will geek down. It's like, oh my God, it's Comic-Con. I'm like, yeah, Comic-Con, right? It's like, no, we can tell by the way the energies are going, we're going opposite energies. If she gets Comic-Con to Rebecca, like, oh my God, it's Comic-Con. Rebecca's Comic-Con. We know. And by the way, it's like Oprah, when the hands go up in the air, oh, you know, they're with you, right? When the hands go down or across the chest, they're not with you. They're telling you what they're about. So we have to understand that we want to only go where we're invited, whether we're dating or whether asking people into longevity or the product. We want to go where we're invited. We're looking for people who already agree with us. So with the invitation, we're not inviting somebody to like, hey, I just met you. Would you like to buy a CEO pack and commit 20 hours a week to this business you never heard of? It's like, that doesn't make any sense. We want to invite them to something that would take them the next step in the learning process. Here's how that works. If you invite me to something to talk, like let's say Chris Downs, who doesn't have a face, he's just black. I think he works for the CIA. He's one of those black ops guys. If Chris Downs invited me, like, hey, do you want to go to a longevity meeting? No, I don't go to a longevity meeting. But if Chris Downs says, hey, Corey, you know, you were talking to me about how the dental office is making you crazy and you'd love to find another way to make a big stream of income that wasn't anything really, there he is right there. Oh, he's not black ops. Anything that wasn't related to dentistry. I have a guy who's coming to town that I'm going to be meeting with. And this guy is named Tom Chenault. And you may not have heard of him, but he is like world famous in my industry, travels all around the world. He teaches people who are professionals how to how to do amazing things financially with their money through this other form of business that I'm involved with. He's totally funny, and for some reason we became friends. And I think that if I brought you down there, I could get some time with you, FaceTime with him one-on-one, and he could listen to you and give you some advice that might help you out, because he's helped thousands of people out. Would you be interested in going? In other words, I know somebody that you should talk to. I know somebody that you should go see. I know a video that might be of help to you that has experts on it that aren't me, because you don't think I'm an expert. Trust me, ask your sister if you're an expert in anything. The answer is only in being a pest. That's the only thing you're good at. Corey, what are you an expert? He's an expert in being annoying to me. Beyond that, that's about it. So you can't be an expert to people around you. You might be the world's biggest expert in something. I can't even be an expert in pollen burst to my sister. It's like, I invented pollen burst. What do you know about pollen burst? You just invented it, right? It's like, I don't know anything. But I could say, hey, listen, one of my buddies is like the athletic coach for Tom Brady. He is an Ayurvedic expert. He is an expert in business. And he's a buddy of mine. He happens to be in town. His name's Sanjeev Javia. And I think that you would benefit from talking to him, because I know you're trying to improve your health and fitness. And I know you're interested in taking some nutrition, some food that would be beneficial to you. Can I set up a call or a coffee with him? Because I think it would be important to you. Well, Sanjeev Javia, he sounds like he's important, right? Okay, I'll meet with him. I'll talk to him. I'll go to a meeting and see him, because I want to know what they know. You see, it's all about connecting somebody with information that they want. So to get that, you need to build up the person who they're getting the information from. So Sanjeev Javia sounds like he's an amazing, amazing person. I could build up any of you to be an expert without saying one word that wasn't untrue. One word. And that person would want to hear from you if that subject matter was interesting to them. So a lot of times, especially for the new person in longevity, they're going to invite them to see their support team. Do not say, I'd like you to meet my upline, because all they hear is cult, right? All they hear is, one of those, the Hale Bot people. They hear craziness from you, right? So Do not use words like, I'm going to introduce you to my upline, my downline, my crossline. I'm going to introduce you to the person on my 14th level. Do not say any of those words when inviting people to things. You're inviting somebody to talk to a person who has information, who is very special and has a relationship with you. Okay? When you start talking upline, downline, crossline, all these different things, all it sounds like is a scheme because they don't know the terminology. Somebody who's in network marketing doesn't hear it that way. If I go to a cardiologist and he goes, we're going to do a left ventricular aortic defibrillator, I'm like going, oh my God, that sounds like I'm going to die like right now. But to another doctor, it's like, oh, so you're going to just like do X, right? Because they know the words. To them, it's their daily terminology. A pilot's going, yeah, we've got a little thing over here. We're going to make a little left turn. It's like, for me, it's like, oh, we're crashing. But to the pilots listening on the ground, it's like, yeah, they're just adjusting their, flap or whatever they're doing because they know the terminology. To the people in the cockpit, they're like, they're dying. So the reality is we have to use terminology with people who are not part of this that makes sense to them. So we need to use terminology that makes them sound like, oh, you're a regular person. Think about this. I go, hey, did you hear LeBron James, the Laker? Corey's a regular guy. Hey, did you hear about the new opening of this new Mexican restaurant? Let me tell you about this new product I just found. It's like, where did Corey go? That normal guy talked about LeBron James and the Mexican restaurant went away, and robotic doctor cult member Corey came in. They don't like and know that guy. They don't trust that guy. You have to be your authentic self. And one of the hardest things about people when they first start inviting people to look at network marketing, even if it's a video, even if it's a book, the person starts acting weird with them, right? Because they're nervous. It's kind of like they're like asking them on a first date or something crazy. So you have to understand that one of the most best things we can tell people is just be yourself, be goofy, say silly things, make mistakes. True statement. A couple days ago, I was doing a 2-on-1 presentation at a little coffee shop down in San Diego here. I said something so stupid in the conversation. I don't know how the words just came out of my mouth wrong. It was just like every word was wrong. I banged the table and I started laughing. And I said, can you imagine they pay me this much money and I can't even talk in cohesive sentences? The person began to laugh hysterically. You know why? I mentioned in the conversation, can you imagine they pay me this much money and I can't even speak English? In other words, you don't even have to be super talented to be successful because they're thinking, I've got to become a scientist. I've got to become a business person. I got to go to Wharton School of Business. And this person's barely speaking English, laughing at himself, banging the table saying, can you believe how bad I am? And he's successful. They're judging how good they have to be. You were just edified as being special and you can't speak English. You can't even talk in complete sentences, and you've been edified as being special. They're learning right away. It's okay not to be perfect and be part of this business. The very second you start talking about what we're doing, they're asking themselves, could I do this? And you having to be perfect means they can't. You being a regular person, making mistakes in your conversation, saying silly things, getting it wrong just means I can say silly things and get it wrong and I'll be okay. If I had to be perfect in Ironman and do nothing wrong, I wouldn't do it. I'm going to make tons and tons and tons of mistakes. My coach told me, you're going to make tons and tons and tons of mistakes, and that's okay. Okay. So we have to let people know in the invitation process, that's just the way it is. So don't make them think that they have to do these perfect presentations that they memorize. Don't make them think that they have to learn magic words they say to every single person. Tell them to be themselves. Tell them to be a good listener. Tell them to be a good inviter. Invite with passion and not worry about the no's, because the no's don't mean anything about you. The no's mean you're doing a good job and you're talking to a lot of people. And the no's mean that you're in the game. If you're not getting no's, you're not doing the business. And I will tell you, and this may hurt to hear, that most everybody on this webinar, including myself, should be talking to more people. Because that's our business. That is what we get paid to do. And when people complain to me that their businesses aren't growing, it usually starts with us. And I can be just as guilty as anybody else. And I can make just as many excuses as anybody else. Trust me, I can. I know them all. But the reality is they're just that. And I could decide to go ride the bike right now or not. But I'm going to tell you this. My coach told me this one day. I said, I don't want to ride 70 miles one day. It was really windy and it was kind of awful weather. And he said, they're not going to change the finish line length for you or the date of the race. So you either get on or you don't do the race. And what he was telling me is that this is what it takes to get where you want to go. So either do what it takes or don't expect to finish. And as upline, we kind of have to be able to tell our people nicely. He wasn't too nice in how he told me that, but you have to be kind of nice in saying, hey, Mary, this is what it takes to get to where you said you wanted to go and the time frame you said you wanted to get there. There's no shortcuts around it. You've got to put in the reps. So you've got to let your people know, I understand it's not fun getting no's, but you're never going to hear a yes without hearing no's. So we've got to go through the process. I can't swim 2.4 miles with a lot of awful practice training swims, a lot of them. And I can tell you there's days when I get to the pool and literally before I walk in the water, this is what I'm saying. I don't even want to go in. And then I'm in the pool. It's like after the first 10 laps, like, can I just be done? But I can't be done because I really want to finish the line in November in Arizona. And my coach has got me convinced if I don't do my laps, I won't finish the race. And I want to finish the race more than I don't want to swim. So you kind of have to get that mentality that I want to be a 5-star. I want to be successful. I want to have that financial independence more than I don't want to do this. So I'm going to do this, even though it's not my favorite thing to do today, because I want that finish line more. Glenn Andrade, I see you there. Are you going camping right now? Are you headed to camping? Nod your head if you are. Glenn is driving over there. I think he's taking his family camping. So anyway, I think that's enough for right now. We can go really into later on a different one, like what do we say and how do we say it? And yeah, he's got his whole family packed up in the car. They're headed off to go camping for a couple of days.
Like a little convention, it just got grew big.
So, Victoria, anything else you need from me, or is that about a little bit over a half hour ago?
No, it was, Corey, it was excellent as always, this recording. According to James, he's putting that up on Masters of Enrollment because we already had the request. Corey, we so appreciate you, and yes, we'd love to continue this on. Maybe in the next week or so, we may have Doc Wallach next week, guys. If we don't have Doc, we'd love to have Corey back. Corey and Doc, they're two of our favorite for sure.
People confuse us all the time.
Have a magnificent day, and we so appreciate your time, Corey, and your pearls of wisdom. Have a great day. Ciao.
Get that out of my mind.
Thank you, Corey. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So wise.
Thank you so much. Love you.
Awesome.
Corey.
Thank you. Great call.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you. Okay, you too. Bye-bye.